Ya ayyuhan nas, in kuntum fi raybin min al-ba'th. People, if you are actually in doubt, if you have been in doubt about being raised again, meaning you're going to die and you're going to be raised again, فَإِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ, then you had better know that there's no doubt about it. We're the ones that created you from dirt, from turab. ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ, then we created you from a fluid, the sperm. ثُمَّ مِنْ عَلَقَةٍ, then from a hanging piece of flesh. Alaq, actually they say in Arabic, aliqa, to be stuck. Aliqa, to be stuck. Like, aliqa al-khayalu fi dhihni, the idea got stuck in my mind, the Arab says. So there's a piece of flesh that's hanging inside the belly of the mother when they do those scans, you know, the ultrasounds, you can see that little tiny piece. ثُمَّ مِن مُضْغَةٍ مُخَلَّقَةٍ, then it's a piece of flesh that is unsculpted. Mukhallaqa means it's an early stage of sculpture. In other words, you know when a sculptor is making the sculpture, he doesn't want you to see his work. Because you're like, what is that? That's why designers and sculptors and painters and artists and even graphic artists and things like that, you can't stand over their shoulder when they're designing stuff, because you look at what they're, why are you drawing these lines? What's that? That's ugly. You don't know what I'm doing, leave me alone. So, and when you see the ultrasound and you see the baby and it's just this little thing, you're like, that's a baby? Really? Wow, I thought it'd be cuter, That's mukhallaqa. There's barely any signs that this is going to be a human being. وَغَيْرِ مُخَلَّقَةٍ, and then it's not so primitive in its sculpting. In other words, then you could see the butt. Oh, that's going to be the head. Oh, that's going to be the arms. That's going to be the legs. Oh my goodness, it's a boy. Oh, it's a girl. I can't tell. That's غَيْرِ مُخَلَّقَةٍ. It starts forming. لِنُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ, so we could clarify to all of you. SubhanAllah, these are stages of development that the Arabs had no way of seeing. And so Allah was telling us and now we talk about it casually, ultrasound and all this stuff, that all the medical advances we have, we can see these things, right? And these developments. There's been quite a bit of literature written about the amazing description that the Quran gives on these things. And probably one of the best papers I've read, I don't know if it's easy to find, but there's a Professor Mustafa Ahmed, and he was at least about 10 years ago when I met him, he was the head of the Foundation for Islamic Education in Pennsylvania, in Villanova, Pennsylvania. And he had written a book on just this, like a thesis almost, on a research paper on the womb and the description of the baby's development inside the womb compared with medical sciences. He's got a PhD from UPenn, I think, from what I can remember. And he had written a pretty cool paper on this stuff. So if you can dig it up, if you're interested in the subjects, especially those of you that are in the medical sciences or heading down that path, so you can run masjids eventually, you should look that paper up. Okay. So, مُخَلَّقَةٍ وَغَيْرِ مُخَلَّقَةٍ لِنُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ, so we can clarify for all of you. وَنُقِرُّ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ مَا نَشَاءُ, and we maintain inside the wombs, and we keep stationary inside the womb. Qarar means to find a place and stay there calm. Okay, so we maintain and station something in the wombs of the mothers, whatever we want. In other words, sometimes the baby stays, sometimes the baby's lost. And what qualities this baby's going to have? Is he going to have, all functioning limbs? Is he going to have a defect or not? What color is he going to be? Is it going to be a boy or a girl? Smart or dumb? Whatever. All of those things, it's up to us. إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى, until a well-named time, until a well-defined time, an appointed time. ثُمَّ نُخْرِجُكُمْ, then we take you out. We literally bring you out, طِفْلًا, as a baby. And when you hear these ayat, you should think about yourself. Allah is saying, I delivered you. I brought you out. We brought you out as a baby. ثُمَّ لِتَبْلُغُوا أَشُدَّكُمْ, and then, so that you can reach your mature age. You could finally become an adult. تَبْلُغُوا أَشُدَّكُمْ, you could become strong-bodied. In other words, you can become an adult. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُتَوَفَّى, and there are among you there are those who get taken away, meaning Allah takes them away from this life. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ they die basically. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ, and there are those who are sent back. In other words, yuraddu is really cool. Every night we kind of die. That's why we say Bismillahi amutu wa ahya. Right? I die in the name of Allah, and then I come back to life, right? Bismika Allahumma amutu wa ahya. Yuraddu actually means send back to sender, like return to sender. You know how somebody ships something to you and you reject it? Or you sent it to the wrong address or something? It's as though every night Allah turns down the request of your death. Yuraddu. Every night you are resuscitated. You know how somebody comes out of a coma? That's the image here. Every night we go into a coma and Allah decides, no, send him back. Let him live again. Let him have another day. Let him have another day. SubhanAllah. That's yuraddu. And some of you, Allah keeps doing that to you. إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمَرِ. Ardhal, they say, دُونَ مِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. It's below everything else. النَّاسِ يَبْتَعِدُونَ عَنْهُ بِسَبَبْ حَقَارَتِهِ. The person who gets so old, and they get so, people are uncomfortable being around that person. Because of their physical state, their coughing, the smell, they're so disabled they can't clean themselves. All kinds of things happen in old age that are embarrassing, And as a result, people stay away from that person and they're kind of disgusted by it. This is, this is not something in Islamic tradition, but in the West, subhanAllah, we don't even want to deal with our grandparents. We put them in old folks' homes and things like that. I don't want to deal with that. Because my kids say ew, when they see grandma. This is ardhal al-umr. Some of you, I will keep sending back, allowing them to live day after day after day until they reach that horrid state of age where they're completely deteriorated and people don't even talk to them. And that's the other thing about that age. People feel like, what good are you now? You can't do anything for the world now. The world has to do something for you. We have to take care of our seniors, the social security conversation in politics, right? So at that age, what do you have to offer? You've got senility, your memory loss is starting to happen. You can't remember a conversation you had just a couple of minutes ago, So what good are you? All the accomplishments of that you may have made in the past are all gone. They're all gone. This is ardhal al-umr. لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ. And this is actually, again, the opposite is the case in our tradition. We're supposed to honor our elders. And we're supposed to see them as ibrah, see them as a warning. The Prophet ﷺ used to make dua against being very old. Reaching really, really old age where he's not able to take care of himself. He wanted Allah's protection from things like being senile. It's not an easy thing. It's a very difficult state. It's a very difficult state. And one of the most difficult things in that age is that you live a life where you take care of your children. I mean, we just talked about babies, right? So you're taking care of your children, like everything you're doing for them. And now you're completely dependent on those kids. You're completely dependent on them. And there's a difference though. When you were in charge and you were taking care of your kids, you did everything for them and you never complained about it. But when you will get taken care of by your children, you will see the complaints on their faces, even if they don't say it. You'll see the discomfort and the burden. And it's going to eat you up inside. It's a very, and we do that to our parents. We don't just serve them. We let them know that it's a little bit of a burden. And they sense it. They know our emotions before we could show emotions. They know them, My wife will look at the baby and she's sad. I was like, she's a baby. They don't have feelings, right? How do you tell she's sad? You can tell she's sad, baby's sad. Give her a hug. Okay. But this insensitivity at old age is something that eats away inside. And you can't do anything about it. You can't walk away. You don't have the help to walk. You can't drive off. You don't even have the license anymore. لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ مِن بَعْدِ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا. And one of the worst aspects of old age, Allah highlights, so that he doesn't know after having known something. He doesn't know anything after having known something. Meaning his memory starts fading. وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ هَامِدًا. And you're going to see the earth dry and unfertile. فَإِذَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْهَا الْمَاءِ. Then when we pour water on it, look at the transition, subhanAllah. We started this ayah with being a baby, being inside the womb. Then Allah brought us out and turned us into an adult. Then we became really old and withered. And then now we don't even know anything anymore. And it's not even said that basically what's the only thing after that? Is death. And you're going to see the earth dried and fertile. And of course, when a person dies, where do they go? Into the earth, that dry and unfertile land. فَإِذَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْهَا الْمَاءِ. Then when we send water onto the land, اهتزت. The earth shakes, it vibrates. With every little drop of water, it vibrates. وَرَبَتْ. And then you'll see it rise. Rise from, as the roots are sprouting the plant, the earth rises a little. But even as a whole, it's like the earth rose when the plants rise. You know, the earth just got higher. وَأَنْبَتَتْ, and it sprouted. مِنْ كُلِّ زَوْجٍ بَهِيجٍ, from all kinds of beautifully paired plants. Bahij is a word used for beauty. Like, Bahij al-Makan, the place became beautiful with greenery, with all kinds of flowers and textures. But this ayah didn't talk about plants in the beginning. It was talking about human beings in the beginning. One of the things you'll notice about this surah, it's got a lot of parables. It's got a lot of examples. It's full of just examples where you have to tie things together. Allah is telling us that the akhirah will come, and you will be raised just like plants are raised out of the ground. You will be raised. And those of you that believe won't be alone. You will be in beautiful pairs. You won't be alone. Subhanallah. And so when you see the water, the earth the dead earth give life after every rain, every single time you see that is a reminder that Allah will bring me out of the ground. He'll bring my parents out of the ground. He'll bring my grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents out of the ground. Subhanallah. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ. And that is all the case because Allah Himself is the ultimate reality. He is the truth. وَأَنَّهُ يُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى. And He in fact is the one that gives life to the dead. وَأَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ. And that is because He in fact is in complete control over every single thing. وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ آتِيَةٌ. And that is because the hour is coming. In other words, haven't you seen the plants come out of the ground? I made that happen. One of the reasons I gave you plants coming out of the ground all the time is because I wanted you to remember that the hour is coming. Allah is tying the argument together, and we know the argument is tied together because of the word anna here in the beginning. Inna is the start of a new sentence. Anna is a connector to what came before. So وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ آتِيَةٌ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever in it. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْعَثُ مَنْ فِي الْقُبُورِ. And if it hasn't been spelled out for you already, let me do it for you. And that Allah is going to raise. He's the one that's going to pull out whoever has been in the graves. You see, in the beginning of this discussion, Allah took you out of the belly of your mom because it was a place you were resting. It was your world. And Allah pulled you out of there. The next time, the earth is holding you. The earth is pregnant with you. The first time your mom was pregnant with you. The second time the earth is pregnant with you, and you will get delivered again. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْعَثُ مَنْ فِي الْقُبُورِ وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. And still there are some kind of people that argue about Allah without any knowledge. Has Allah already said that? He said that already, remember? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Now Allah is saying it again. You know when somebody talks like that and repeats themselves, it's a scolding. There's still some people that don't listen. The teacher's yelling at the students, and like every 5 minutes. And there's still some people who don't do their homework. What is that supposed to do? Oh man. Are you supposed to feel like, oh God? You know, it's supposed to, every time he repeats something, it's supposed to dig the nail deeper inside your heart. That's what's supposed to happen. وَمَنْ يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَلَا هُدًى. And they don't base their arguments on any kind of guidance. وَلَا كِتَابٍ مُنِيرٍ. Nor on a book that gives off light, that lightens everything around it. This is Allah referring to the Quran, that it's knowledge, number one, it's guidance, number two, but it's also a book that gives off light. Now it's a book full of light is one thing. Kitabun munawwar or munar, the book that's been given light. But kitabun munir, munir means something that gives off light. Meaning the book itself is blessed and everything around it benefits from it. The environment around that book benefits. This is actually Allah's second expression of the same idea that we read previously in the last surah, هَذَا ذِكْرٌ مُبَارَكٌ. It's full of barakah. ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ. ثَانِيَ شَيْء يعني لَوَاهُ. Lawa means to turn. Thana means to turn. عِطْف is the neck or the entire shoulders. ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ. He turning his shoulders, turning away from this message. He hears these ayat, he goes, yeah. And he walks away. Allah actually captures, it's like, you know, this when a criminal's behavior is caught on camera, like they're robbing the store and it's caught on camera, Allah catches on camera the crime of somebody who was listening to the ayat of Quran and just turned their shoulders. It's like, I don't need this. And walked away. That's the crime. Subhanallah. He captures that crime in the Quran. لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And he turns his shoulder, and by the way, عطف يعني jump, side, right? They also, before I go further in the ayah, رَجُلٌ مَرَّ ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ, they say as a figure of speech in Arabic, a man walked away, turning his shoulder, means he walked away showing pride. That's what that means, to turn away showing pride. Or to walk away scoffing at something. Like, this isn't worth my time. I'm out of here. You know? You know how sometimes they're in parliament houses, you'll see an example of ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ. Parliament houses, the opposition leader is speaking, and there are certain dignitaries or delegates that are sitting, they walk out. They do a walkout. This is ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ. He in his protest against revelation, he can't even stand listening to it. He walks away from it. And these are people of influence. This person's arrogant because obviously people give him some reason to be arrogant. You know, a person that has no status in life isn't arrogant because who are they going to show their pride to? But a person that has influence over others, people recognize this person, they know him for his knowledge, his status, his wealth, his political situation, whatever it may be. This person, when he turns away, he doesn't just turn away himself. People look at that and say, man, he's not impressed. I shouldn't be impressed either. That's captured in لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. So he can misguide. Not so he can be misguided. That's يَضِلَّ. So he may be misguided. This is لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. So he may misguide others from the path of Allah. Just his turning away. So we're learning here that the people of influence, number one, it's very hard for people of influence not to be arrogant. And when they are arrogant and they give in to that temptation, all that attention people give them, it gets to them. Then when they turn away, they are far more responsible than their own selves. People of influence, when they make bad decisions, Allah doesn't just hold them accountable for their own actions. Because these guys are celebrities, because these people have millions of followers, then their actions are replicated by millions, hundreds, dozens, 4 or 5, it doesn't matter. But so long as you have a level of influence, you're answerable for it. That's why, the people of like celebrities, teen celebrities now, this is a big phenomenon, right? So funny. Somebody was mispronouncing. I was like, man, we're really out of touch. Justin Bieber. I was like, yeah, Beaver. It's pretty good. But the beavers of the world, and along with the squirrels and everybody else, how much influence this kid has. I mean, how much influence? How many millions of fans? When this child does something bad, something shameful, something indecent, the effects of it are colossal. They're huge, Those, one of the big evils of the world, Disney, they now have, you used to have kids shows, right? Disney was a kid thing. It was like a Mickey Mouse thing. It was a Toy Story thing. But then it slowly started becoming a teen thing, right? And they'll have these now they don't just have animation, they have actual sitcom type shows, right? With teenage girls and stuff like that. And these girls will become pop stars and they'll sing songs and things like that. And then they become 16, 17, 18 and they just completely go provocative. And before that, little Muslim girls are walking to Islamic school with the book bags with the Hannah Montana on it. It's disgusting how much influence we allow these people to have. And they misguide not just themselves, way more. Why do you think your girl wants to dress like that and is arguing with you about not wearing her hijab or not dressing modestly, or why does she pick out those tight clothes every time? And you're like, why do you dress like that? Why can't you get a longer blouse? Why do you have to get the short one? And you'll have those conversations. Where did that come from? That's that celebrity on TV. That's where it trickles down to the entire society like that. ثَانِيَ عِطْفِهِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ لَهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا خِزْيٌ. Allah says, in this world, I will make sure a person like that gets humiliation. If they get exposed to revelation and they turn away from it, they will have public humiliation. Khizi, when your embarrassments are shown in front of others. وَنُذِيقُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَذَابَ الْحَرِيقِ. And we will make him taste on the day of resurrection the punishment of a fire that burns everything down. Al-hariq. ذَلِكَ بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاكَ. That is because of what you invested with both of your hands. This is what you worked on. قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاكَ literally means what your hands sent forth. That's the official translation, what your hands sent forward. What that means is, these are the investments you made. This is what you were working on. You thought you'd have a bright future. This is the bright future you were working on. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَيْسَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. And Allah is not at all someone who does wrongs to His slaves. ظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ.